Thank you very much for joining us today. And you're welcome to yet another episode on STEAM Marriage channel. We'll talk about relationship and marriage. Today, I'm privileged to have my wife joining me for this particular
Ta-da!
episode. So, today, we want to present to you 6 wrong reasons for getting married. That is to say, if you are intending to get married, which is a good thing. However, if you assess yourself and you realize that the reason for getting married is one of these 6 reasons, would advise you hold on and reconsider your decision. Getting married because you are just tired of being single. Because of that, they just want to tie the knot with the next lady or gentleman just so that they are no more part of the single category.
Yeah,
So
they
that's
can
it.
settle down.
So that they can settle down. That's how they call it now. Settle down. Now, marriage is a serious business, okay? And if you want to get married, we think that you should consider it carefully. You should make sure that the person that you are going to get married to, the person is also into the relationship and they want to also get married.
Thinking about
You know,
you wanting to get married because you are single, it's more of like a selfish thought. Because marriage is not just about you.
exactly.
Your marriage is going to affect your community, it's going to
Your
affect your children,
children,
your great
your
grandchildren. Then,
church, where you
yes,
are, everybody.
yes.
So it will be selfish to just want to get married just because you are tired of being single. And there's a saying that it's better to be single and lonely than married and lonely.
Yeah.
Because if you are single and you are alone, at least you know that your life is not tied to anybody and you can work it out. But when you force yourself into a marriage that you are not ready for and ending up being single whilst married, I think that's more dangerous.
Or the second reason why some people want to get married to is because they think they've invested too much of their time, their money, and a lot of other things in the relationship, which is to us is a very bad motive. Like we said earlier, marriage goes beyond just your you the woman and then the man. It goes on to affect several generations after you. So you have to think beyond your foresight.
Probably been in a relationship for 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. Some people may even have been in a
One
relationship for
month.
like, well, a month or even 10 years or whatever. If you've been in a relationship for 10 years and it's not working, if you get married, assuming you get married whilst you are 35 and you are going to live for 90 years, it means you are sacrificing 55 good years of sorrow, suffering, or regret because you don't want to let go of the 2 or 5 years that you have invested into the relationship. So saying that you are getting married because you have invested too much to let go, it's not wise, because if you've invested 2 years and it's not working, it's better to let the 2 years go
Okay.
than to get married because you have invested 2 years and then end up spending 55 good years. But in a marriage that you didn't intend to, in a marriage that the two of you have not really made up your mind that you wanted to get married. And the third wrong reason people get married is because they are just afraid of breaking up. Okay, so you've been dating this person for a long time, and at a point you realize that things are not working. The best thing would be to end this relationship. But sometimes people are scared that if I break up this relationship, the person might do some harm to themselves, or they might commit suicide, or they might harm me in a particular way. So, because of the fear, they decided to continue with the relationship. Now, which is better, to break up, to end a relationship now, or to marry this person and live in fear for the rest of your life? Because this is somebody that you're going to live with for the rest of your life,
In love, not in fear.
not in fear. So if you're going to get married to them because you were scared that if you break up, they will do something to themselves. How are you going to live the rest of your life?
And it's
How
definitely going to affect your children as well because you will
exactly,
not be able to show forth love to them because you're always living in fear. And they will pick it up and it's going to affect them in their future marriages as well because they will not
exactly.
have any good example from mom and dad to emulate.
And then if you marry to this person, if you are scared talking about issues in the relationship, you are scared breaking up. How are you going to handle much difficult issues later on in life when you are married? Because you are once you are scared and you continue a relationship because of fear, this fear is going to remain. It's not going to go away. It's going to remain. This person will still have the tendency to harm themselves if you come home one day and tell them that you lost your job, or if you come home one day and tell them that you got some sickness or something. They still have a tendency. So it shouldn't be the reason why you stay stuck to somebody.
The fourth reason why you should not be getting married is because you think no other person would love
The
your
person.
partner. Yes.
So you continue in a relationship, maybe you feel, oh, if I should end this relationship, this one, the person, he or she won't get anybody else to marry. So because of that, you are sort of just having some mercy for the person.
For example, some people say that, oh, my husband or my wife, or my boyfriend or my girlfriend is quick tempered. I'm the only one that can handle him.
Perfect example. So you don't want to, you see, why would you want to sacrifice your life, yourself, your children,
Your
your generation,
community,
your community, your
your
church,
church, your
to to,
work. You
to
go to work and you look so stressed
and
out.
gloomy. So
Yes.
why would you want to sacrifice all this and stay stuck to somebody just because you think that when you let them go, nobody else will be able to marry them? Sometimes there's somebody who can handle them. So if it's not working for you now, it's almost like you are sacrificing your whole life. And I don't think your children subscribe to that sort of sacrifice now that
Yeah.
you're going to, because whoever you marry, if you are a man, you are actually getting a mother for your children. And if you are a woman, you are getting a father for your children. Will
And
your children
if the
be
marriage is one that doesn't have children too, you are not going to set any good example for society to see.
exactly? So you don't cow in and just thinking you are marrying this person because you are sort of like doing them a favor, because love, you can't love them to your best ability if you think you are doing them a favor now. You should marry somebody believing and convincing yourself that this person is the best that you can find,
Yeah.
not compromising, not doing them a favor, because this is going to be a lifelong journey. And if you begin it by believing that you are doing the person a favor, then you are already headed for trouble.
Marriage is very long. In fact, too long to subject yourself to such.
It's really, really, really long.
The last but one reason why we think you should reconsider that decision is if you are getting married because you think you've invested too much in the
Maybe the
wedding
wedding,
gown, the ring.
engagement stuff, and all those things.
Yes,
So you see, some people because you've already bought a wedding gown
you've
down.
sent
So
out invitations.
yeah, so
Oh,
because
I must get married.
so even when you notice that there's a problem, instead of holding on, instead of calling off engagement, calling off the marriage to sort out issues, you just go ahead because you've already announced to your friends that, oh, I'm getting married in 2 months' time. So whatever the issues are, you just patch them in the dark and then go ahead and get married just because you don't want to let go of all these things. Why would you sacrifice your life because you have bought a wedding gown down? Because you will have to tell friends that I am holding on with my wedding or engagement or whatever so that you can sort out certain issues.
I,
You
I remember reading a book that said that if you ignore such serious issues and rush a wedding just to get married, remember that divorce is more expensive. Divorce is going to cost you more, not just financially, but it's going to drain you emotionally. It can even cause your early death.
So no amount of payment for a wedding gown, payment for an event gown, no amount of engagement stuff that you have bought is worth the reason why you should jump into marriage if you should find serious reasons
Why you
that need you
should?
to reconsider your decision. So that's another point. And then the last point we want to talk about is getting married because you've already had sex. So because you've had sex, it means you should get married. Now, if you've already had sex, you've already done the first wrong thing. Why would you want to do a second wrong thing by getting married whilst you are not ready to get married just because you've had sex? Having sex, you shouldn't have had sex, which is against God's expectations of you or God's rules for you. But it is not enough reason to go ahead and even get married this time around, even making things worse, getting married just because you have already had sex. It's another wrong reason to be getting married.
So if you think that you've had sex, so that's the motive why you should get married, I think you should just pull back, ask God for forgiveness, forgive yourself, and take time and build the relationship, because there are equally more
And without
important
sex,
things. Yes, without sex, there are equally more important things that you want to pay attention to instead of premarital sex, which is going to cost you in the long run. The devil has a very beautiful way of packaging sin and then hailing you on. But God's grace is available for all of us. If you feel condemned within you, just run back to God, ask for forgiveness, and sit down with your partner and work things out devoid of sex. Focus on important issues. We have issues like communication, we have issues like finances, which a lot of people do not pay attention to,
not at all.
and it can equally ruin your marriage.
So sometimes you may need to get in touch with a seasoned counselor. You may need to contact your church leadership, seasoned ones, experienced ones, of course, to help you through this. You may be able to continue with a marriage, or you may have to end everything and then later on marry somebody else if the need be, not necessarily because you had sex, so you should get married. Thank you for joining us today, and don't forget to always like the video and then also subscribe.
Don't forget to comment. We want to hear from you, so just
Yes, if
drop
you have
some
any
comments in there
questions,
for
if
us.
you have any questions for us, you can ask us the questions and then we will, as much as we can, answer those questions.